The Adventures of Prince Achmed. A silhouette film by Lotte Reiniger. The Sorcerer. Dinarsade. Achmed. Pari Banu. Aladdin. The Witch. The African sorcerer was the most powerful magician of his time. His knowledge of the secrets of black magic was second to no one in the whole world, but also no one was as ugly as he was, and he could not change that. Now he had fallen in love with the beautiful daughter of the Caliph of Baghdad, the Princess Dinarsade. To win her, he gathered up all the power of his magic art and created a magic horse. A wooden horse which could fly through the air. The sorcerer adorned himself as splendidly as he could manage, swung himself onto the horse, and flew to Baghdad. There, the Caliph's birthday was being celebrated with great pomp. A huge crowd had gathered in front of the splendid palace. The great Caliph. Jugglers, conjurers, and dancers competed with each other to entertain the ruler and his court with their cunning. The sorcerer and his horse mingled with them. Nobody could match his performance. "It's a magic horse," exulted Caliph, "which flies through the air." Princess Dinarsade, the Caliph's daughter, Prince Achmed, her brother, the sorcerer soared into the air on his horse, fetched a banner from the highest dome of the palace, and presented it to the astonished Caliph. The Caliph was delighted and offered fabulous sums to the sorcerer, but he would not sell the horse for any price. "I will not part with this horse for mere gold." "So choose among my treasures," suggested the Caliph. "May I take what I most desire?" "I swear it by the beard of the Prophet." Like lightning, the sorcerer dashed towards the sedan, from which the Princess Dinarsade had watched the performance, took her by the hand, and forced her to follow him. All the people present were terrified, most of all the poor princess, who was disgusted by his ugly appearance. The Caliph was helpless, for he could not break his solemn oath. But then the young Prince Achmed, his son, interfered. It was unbearable for Achmed to see his sister in this unworthy situation. He demanded to test the horse. Eagerly, the sorcerer agreed. The sorcerer invited the prince to mount the horse and explained how pushing a lever on its head would make it rise into the sky. Prince Achmed was young and brave and eager for adventure. He seized the lever and the horse soared into the air, higher and higher. Soon he got out of the sight of the frightened crowd. End of Act 1. Act 2. The story of Prince Achmed. How can one bring the horse back down to earth? The lever at the head drives it into the air, and the lever at the tail brings it to earth. Does the prince know this? Asked the scared Caliph. He did not ask me, the sorcerer replied scornfully. The Caliph was shocked and had him put in irons and thrown into prison, but the prince had vanished. Meanwhile, the magic horse carried the prince high above the clouds through tempests and thunderstorms. First, the prince was pleased with this rare adventure, but he became anxious when he moved the lever backward and forward, believing this would bring the horse down, and it only accelerated its speed and carried him into the starry night. He groped along the wooden back and discovered another lever near its tail, which yielded to his touch, and at once the horse lowered itself towards the earth. The prince heaved a sigh of relief when he discovered the earth again beneath him, but he was far away from his home. Under him, east of the sun and west of the moon, lay the magic islands of Wak Wak. On one of these islands, he perceived a graceful little pleasure seat and guided his horse down onto its roof. The prince was young and brave and eager for adventure. He entered and came into a chamber where he found many charming girls lying sound asleep. They woke up when he approached and greeted the beautiful stranger joyfully, offering him delicious refreshments. "Who are you, maidens?" "We serve the Princess Pari Banu, ruler of the spirit world of Wak Wak." "Stay with us, handsome stranger." But when the beauties started to quarrel with each other for the favor of the handsome visitor, and even came to blows, he took to his heels and speedily flew away on his horse. And the maidens stretched their longing arms after him, but in vain. On the neighboring island, he saw a beautiful lake surrounded with silent palm trees. He softly let his horse glide down there and walked along under the palm trees, enchanted by the charm of the scenery. Every night, the exquisite Pari Banu and her attendants bathed here. Down came wonderful birds, alighting on the border of the lake. He hid himself among the bushes and watched how these birds discarded their feathery garments, and saw that they were lovely maidens. Then, an even more wonderful bird hovered down, greeted by the others with deep reverence. Out of this feather dress emerged the most enchanting beauty Achmed had ever seen. It was the Princess Pari Banu, the ruler of the islands of Wak Wak, who was wont to come here every night to bathe in the magic lake with her companions. At the sight of her, Achmed's heart trembled, and he was inflamed with violent love for this bewitching queen. He took her feather dress and concealed it between the bushes. When the maidens returned from their bathing pleasures, they noticed with dismay the loss of their queen's feather dress. Achmed stepped forward and the girls hastily slipped back into their disguise and flew away. Only Pari Banu could not do so. "Give me back my cloak of feathers," implored Pari Banu. "Come with me to my beautiful homeland," entreated the prince. Afraid, she escaped away from him through the palm wood until her strength failed her, and she fell down in a dead faint. The prince lifted her up very tenderly, wrapped her in his cloak, put her upon his horse, and again mounted into the air. Thus, Pari Banu was kidnapped from the lands of the demons of Wak Wak. After they had traveled many leagues, they found themselves above distant China. They alighted in a beautiful valley. The prince made a bed for his precious burden under a shadowy tree. Pari Banu regained consciousness, and Achmed spoke to her softly and tenderly. "Do not be afraid of me, O beautiful one. I will be your servant until I die." But she trembled with fear and warned him. "You do not know the power of the demons of Wak Wak. They will kill you." "Allah's mercy will protect us if you will become my wife," replied the prince. But Pari Banu began to weep. Meanwhile, the wicked sorcerer sat in his prison, laden with chains, and searched for the whereabouts of his magic horse. With the strength of his magic, he discovered where it was. And in a flash, he got rid of his fetters, transformed himself into a bat, and flew away through the barred window of his dungeon. In vain, Prince Achmed tried to persuade his beloved, "We will find our home, and you will forget all about Wak Wak." He could not bear to see her so distressed, and with a heavy heart, he handed her back her bird garment. Gladly she received it, but when she saw how intensely he suffered and how young and beautiful he was, her heart was overcome with love. "I will follow you." Overcome with happiness, he threw himself at her feet. The sorcerer approached them in the shape of a kangaroo. Taking advantage of the lover's carelessness, he stole the feather dress. Achmed pursued him. The sorcerer tricked the prince into falling into a deep gorge. With rocks so steep that Achmed could not climb up. The sorcerer returned to Pari Banu, having changed his appearance again into a Chinese servant. He approached her with all reverence, carrying a precious chest. "The prince sends you this garment," he lied. Pari Banu found a silken Chinese dress in this chest and donned it with pleasure. Meanwhile, a giant snake attacked the poor prince in the gorge. He fought with it courageously and, finally, overpowered it. "The prince bids me lead you to him." The body of the slain snake enabled Achmed to climb out of the gorge, and he hastened back, taking the bird dress with him. Prince Achmed was too late. The place under the tree was empty. The magic horse and Pari Banu had vanished. He threw himself to the ground in bleak despair. End of Act 2. Act 3. Adventures in China. At that time, there ruled a cheerful emperor in China, whose favourite pastime it was to listen to the melodies which his jester played for him on chimes. The Emperor of China. The Emperor's jester. To this court, the sorcerer brought Pari Banu to sell her to the emperor. The sorcerer transformed the bags of gold the emperor had paid for Pari Banu into winged afrits. With them, he returned to Prince Achmed, who still lay under the tree, stricken with grief. With the help of these afrits, the sorcerer lifted Achmed into the air and brought him to the most dreadful place he could think of. The emperor smiled on the gracious Pari Banu. The emperor was shocked and infuriated by her resistance, to which he was by no means accustomed. He summoned his jester. "Kill her or take her to wife," he ordered his jester. The sorcerer brought Achmed to the fiery mountains, changed the afrits into a heavy piece of rock which he placed on the breast of the poor prince, and said to him with derisive laughter, "And now, my brave prince, I will return to your fair sister. You won't be able to hinder me anymore." And thus he flew away, leaving the desolate Achmed almost dead with exhaustion. In this mountain dwelt the sorcerer's greatest enemy, the Fire Mountain Witch. She was dreadful to look at and dwelled there among her slaves, a gang of fantastic monsters, scorched by the red heat of the flames which flared around them. She noticed that on top of one of her volcanoes, something unusual was happening, and sent her slaves to find out the reason. They brought the lifeless Achmed down to her. The witch was very impressed by his looks and brought him back to life.
How dare you come to my magic mountain?
The African sorcerer brought me here.
He is my greatest enemy. And we are friends.
The bridegroom. Achmed implored the witch to take him to the Isles of Wak Wak to liberate his beloved Pari Banu, for he believed that the demons had brought her there. "Help me free Pari Banu!"
I fear no spirits.
Employing all the skill of her magic art, she conjured up, out of the glowing fire, magic weapons.
With these weapons, you can conquer the spirits.
The bride. They hurried out to go to Wak Wak. The magic armor enabled Achmed to walk through the air at the witch's side. On their way, the witch observed that under them, in the town of the Chinese emperor, a big wedding was being celebrated.
It's Pari Banu down there.
We must stop the wedding! The witch succeeded in disturbing the wedding. Happily, the lovers sank into each other's arms. Then a new misfortune befell them. The dreaded demons of Wak Wak were on their way to search for their mistress. Achmed struggled against them gallantly, but in the turmoil of the fight, the demons managed to carry off Pari Banu. Achmed overcame one of the demons. Take me to Wak Wak. But they arrived too late. The gates of Wak Wak had closed. A flaming writing appeared to Achmed. The gates of Wak Wak. Open only to the one who the magic lamp of Aladdin possesses. End of Act 3. Act 4. Aladdin and the Magic Lamp. Helplessly, Achmed looked around him in the desolate wilderness. There, he beheld a gigantic monster about to devour a man. He seized his bow and arrow, shot and killed the monster, and hurried down to assist the victim. The stranger was a handsome young man who fell at his feet and thanked him. I am Aladdin. Where is the magic lamp? The prince asked eagerly. Do you not have it? The young man lowered his head and confessed with shame that the lamp had vanished, and begged the disappointed Achmed to listen to his story. I will tell you. I was a poor tailor in the city of the Caliph. One day, I was visited by a mysterious stranger. Aladdin told the prince how this stranger had a peculiar power over him. He had shown him the Caliph's palace in all its splendor, and finally, in the palace gardens, the Caliph's beautiful daughter, Dinarsade. Behold Dinarsade, daughter of the Caliph. You shall have her once you do something for me. Overjoyed, Aladdin accepted. He led me to a high mountain. He told me this well would let me into a magic cave, where would be burning the magic lamp. Fetch the lamp. Willingly, Aladdin descended. He found the lamp, which was radiating a magic light. The stranger stretched out his arms greedily towards Aladdin. Give me the lamp. Well, first, let me out. The stranger became mad with fury and pushed him back into the well. He then pulled up the rope ladder. So die. I have other ways to get the lamp. I languished long in the dark cave until I succeeded in lighting the lamp. What is your command, O Master? I am your servant, I and all the spirits of the lamp. Take me home. Now I knew I could win the Princess Dinarsade. The servants of the lamp brought priceless treasures to her. In a single night, I built her a splendid palace. In the morning, the astounded Caliph visited the enchanted building. So she became my wife. The Caliph is my father, Dinarsade, my sister. Tell me what happened after. One day, everything vanished. The palace, Dinarsade, and the lamp. The Caliph condemned me to death. The executioner had lifted his axe when I succeeded in escaping. I fled before the fury of the Caliph. I set out to sea. A fearful storm broke. My boat was dashed into pieces. The wild waves threw me onto the cliffs. As I wandered among the rocks, I saw a big tree full of luscious fruit. While I slowly gathered some, the tree began to move. I saw with horror that the tree threw off its leaves and became a giant monster, which seized me with fury. And so you found me. Do you know who did this to you? The African sorcerer. He coveted Dinarsade and also plunged me into misfortune, for I hindered him from obtaining her. Here they were interrupted. The witch flew down to them in great excitement. She had searched for Achmed everywhere.
Hurry, Achmed, and free Pari Banu! The spirits want to kill her because she left to follow you.
Achmed was in despair. How could they enter Wak Wak without the aid of the magic lamp? The sorcerer has stolen the magic lamp. Only the lamp can open the gates of Wak Wak. Kill the sorcerer, and the lamp is yours. Kill him.
I will try.
With all her powers, she forced the sorcerer to appear. And now, a terrible magic fight began between them. As neither could conquer the other, they turned into fish. And they fought in the water. But even there, no one was victorious. Then they regained their own shapes and threw flames at each other. Wilder and wilder, until the Witch of the Fiery Mountains won, and the sorcerer fell down dead. Achmed and Aladdin breathed again, and the witch stepped towards them, the beaming lamp in her victorious hand.
Your enemy is dead.
End of Act 4. Act 5. The Spirit Battle of Wak Wak. The spirits rose up against their faithless mistress. They were determined to kill her when the rays of the wonderful lamp penetrated into the realms of Wak Wak.
Prince Achmed stands before the gates.
Bring out Pari Banu. Summon the spirits of the lamp, Aladdin. But the spirits of darkness poured from the rocks and attacked Achmed. Aladdin was overwhelmed. He tried to frighten the spirits away with the rays of his lamp. Oh no! The lamp! Achmed rescued Aladdin, but their situation was desperate. The witch intervened. She regained possession of the lamp. Now, legions of benevolent spirits streamed out of the magic lamp. So numerous were they that the demons could hardly cope with them. But the most fearsome demon seized Pari Banu. Bravely, Achmed followed the demon and fought him bitterly. He cut off his many heads, one after the other, but new ones grew again and again. The witch hurried to the rescue and stopped the danger with the rays of the lamp. So Pari Banu was saved.
Behold, the palace!
Aladdin's marvelous palace hovered down before them.
Return and seek happiness in the land of the mortals.
The fortunate lovers now thanked the witch reverently and took their leave of her. They went into the palace where Aladdin hoped to find his Dinarsade. The demons fled back to their caves. The witch called the spirits back into the lamp. The palace rose to bring them back into the land of the mortals. Dinarsade must be in the palace. Aladdin found his beloved Dinarsade, whom he embraced with tears of joy. The towers of the Caliph's city soon appeared before them.
Aladdin's palace has returned! The Caliph was so overwhelmed with joy to see his beloved children and Achmed's beautiful bride that he pardoned Aladdin and embraced them all with tender love. Meanwhile, the call to morning prayer sounded from the minarets. The end.